Hello everyone. So today let us just wait for some more viewers to come in. Okay, I'm just giving an invite. Yeah, right. Gentlemen, I'm your host for the day, Afreen, and on behalf of the entire My City Links team, I'm here with
Hi.
Ms. Devina. Hello, how are you, Devina?
Good. How are you?
I'm good as well.
Hi,
Okay, it took me a
everybody.
little time. Okay, so I'll just introduce you to all our viewers here. On behalf of the entire My Citylinks team, I would like to welcome you today for today's show, Breaking the Mental Health Stigma. It's really nice having you today. So today we are mostly going to talk about the different mental health issues that is prevalent for everyone now, like for all age groups. There's no difference in that, and all the stigma that revolves around it mostly. So please, Devina, would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Afreen. It's a pleasure to be here. And sabko namaste, sabko salam, sabko bonjour. I am right now in Canada, but my parents live in India, and I'm in India very often. So I'm very happy that we're doing this together. We're sharing space together. To those of you who may not know me, I am a published author, a radio host, and a producer, as well as the founder of the Sexy Brilliant Nonprofit Foundation. And our mission is to remove toxic shame. So shame around addiction, shame around mental health, shame around perhaps, if you've ever felt too fat, too loud, or too ambitious, because I am the author of a book called Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious. So, with everything that we're doing it's to allow you and share the wisdom so that you can be authentic in your own light, in your own brilliance, and not be ashamed of who you are. Afreen?
Okay, thank you very much. So let's come to the topic, right? To the topic. Okay. So we have seen the pandemic has brought about a surge in all sorts of mental issues. Okay. So what exactly does mental health mean? What does the term exactly mean for all?
So mental health is defined differently for everybody, right? But the idea is that whatever you're going through, you are able to have the self-awareness to be in connection with yourself, your emotions, your feelings, your body also, and your mind. And all of this has been really impacted with the what we're going through right now. So our anxiety is very high, our stress level is very high, and as somebody who's overcome self-harm thoughts, I feel the trauma that we're going through at an individual level and at a global level. So it is important that we kind of have to say that our emotions are sacred. What we're feeling is normal. We want to normalize having emotions. We want to give space to our men to be authentic, and even women who've not felt good enough or are struggling to know that it's okay. And from all of this, you have to understand who you are, get to know yourself, and find your divine connection. Afri.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And I just want to make one thing clear is I am not a professional. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a doctor. On the other hand, I am, a social worker. My mission is it's a social enterprise. So for me, I share my own personal experiences from,
right.
everything that life taught me.
So how did you come into the mental health scenario?
So
I would like to know.
Yeah. So when I had an arranged marriage and when my marriage ended, I kind of fell into an addiction. So, as women, we base our identity on our relationships, right? On our marriage and our husband and everything. And I did the same thing. So when my marriage ended, I was really depressed and really one day I was sitting by the river and I was like, I want to just jump in and end my life because it was so, so much trauma. And then this little voice said, you know what? It's easy to jump in and kill yourself. How about looking back and how about saying, everything that I'm going through in life is a reason. There's a reason for this. And I should not be ashamed of being a single mother. I should not be ashamed of having, going through a divorce or whatever it is. So that was my personal experience. And I mean, I've had other ones as well, but this was the biggest one. And from there on, this journey of self-reflection, I started looking within. I started questioning myself. I came in contact with my emotions, all my emotions. And that's where this journey started.
So often there are times when we are sad and there are times when we are depressed. So how can we differentiate between the two? How can we know whether we are sad or really depressed and we need help?
Yeah. So, one of the things that I have realized from my personal experience is actually this past weekend, today's Thursday, right? So this past weekend, I was very sad and I was driving and my tears were coming out, and then this happened for a few days and I was like, what's wrong with me? Am I struggling with depression? Is it sadness? So you kind of have to ask yourself, you have to question yourself. And of course, so then I sat with my emotions. I didn't do anything drastic. I didn't, I just was like, had that awareness of my emotions. And the awareness is the first step that allows us to heal. I'm sorry, there's noise here. There's a truck passing by.
Okay. So talking about awareness, how can there's a lot of negativity that is going on around us. People have faced trouble in, they have lost lives, they have lost livelihood. So how can they overcome this?
Sorry about that. So, when we are constantly faced with our emotions and how do we, I just want to answer the question about how do we differentiate between sadness and depression. One thing is to be aware is that when the emotions are coming, they are just flowing through you, right? Like they're there. During the day, you're going through many emotions. There's happiness, there's sadness, there's fear, there's joy, so many emotions. But we just have to be mindful to every emotion. Now, the thing with depression is it's not a wrong thing to have depression. Having depression doesn't make you a less than human being. It doesn't make you anybody unlovable. In fact, we want to remove the stigma associated with that, the idea of depression or the idea of mental health or even any other mental health issues that somebody can have, because every person is worthy of love. Every person is worthy of respect. And mostly we want our own self-respect. We want our own self-love too, right? So just to finish off the point about depression is that if you are struggling, get professional help. Reach out. If you have supportive family members, reach out to them. If you have friends who you can reach out to. But also, if you are suicidal, if you've got like really dark thoughts, it is very, very important that you reach out to professionals for support, because your life is worthy of living. You are worthy of love.
So, is there a cure for mental illness? Do we have any sort of cure?
Again, I'm talking from a personal experience. What I have done to cure my, I would say, depression, the times that I've been depressed, or the times that I've struggled with sadness, is I have just like sat with my emotions. I have found ways to release it, whether that is through tears, whether that is through writing, whether that is through talking to a professional, a therapist. So that has been really helpful as well. Another thing that I like, and I ask everybody to look into it as, as a possibility, is to watch what you're eating. So when, for example, when I struggled with depression, I noticed that I want to eat more junk food. So again, when I come back to my mindfulness, I come back to this present day moment, I realize that, if I replace my junk food with my green vegetables, guess what happens? My body starts feeling better. When my body feels better, my emotions feel better as well. So everything is connected. So we have to be aware of ourselves. We have to know who we are. We have to know what we want in this moment. And from there, we have to make that happen for ourselves.
Talking of society, so people are really very much aware of that. They are very cautious not to reveal that they are going through some stuff. They have some dark feelings. So do you think society plays any kind of role in that? Should people be very cautious of that? What people will think? Log kya kahenge? Which is a very big stigma, mostly in India, I guess.
Log kya kahenge is what will people say, So, this is a question not just in India. It's the human nature, where we as human beings are, it's easier to focus on the outside. It's easier to call somebody else black than calling ourselves black, right? So, and that's just a metaphoric, right? It's not. So what I mean to say is, when we look at people around us and, we are labeling them, we're putting them in boxes, it is easy. However, when we look back inside of us and when we start seeing our darkness, we start seeing, what things we don't like about ourselves, it's difficult to face yourself in the mirror. So the first thing we have to do is to remove that log kya kahenge, the stigma of what people are going to say, is to make sure that, we are connected to ourselves, we are authentic, and we are not judging others, right? Like, because when we judge others, it's only a reflection of what's going on inside of ourselves. So everybody who's watching this is, today you're a son, today you're a daughter, tomorrow you're going to be a father, a mother, a grandfather. This is going to continue, right? But be careful of all the messages that you're passing through. So that's very important. The second thing I would say is, we don't know who we are. So when we don't know who we are, we're very easy to manipulate, right?
Yeah.
We have lost our essence.
Right.
So, they'll be like, okay, tum doctor ban jao. And in English, that means you will become a doctor because it's easy, you'll have a good life. But I want to be a scientist, or I want to be an author, or I want to be an artist. What about that? So we are so busy. And by the way, this is a system like this. It's not, I'm not going to blame, you as an individual or me as an individual for this. It's because the system, the establishment is designed in such a way that we get busy with the 9 to 5, we get busy with the outside factors, and we forget who we are. So it's again coming back to your inside, coming back to your true power, coming back to knowing who you are and what do you need in this moment, so that then when you are strong in the foundation, you have a strong concrete base, guess what happens? You become unshakable in the outside. So what people say is what people say. And Afreen, just to finish this point, is when I started Sexy Brilliant nonprofit foundation.
Yeah.
Sabse pehle, the first people to say what you're doing is my parents. You know, they didn't speak to me. They were like, what are you doing? Is this a porn site? Are you mad? What's going on? You know? So see, these are reflections of what people think about, and that's okay. This doesn't mean that I'm angry with my parents or I don't speak to them or, you know, I don't respect them. Absolutely not. I have the most respect for my parents. I love my parents and they love me. However, I have to be firm and I have to say, I'm doing something. I don't know what it is, but if you don't want to support me, that's okay. I'm going to continue in my mission.
Right.
So we have to be firm and strong in our belief, unshakable, so that nothing on the outside can shake us.
Definitely. So mental health is not yet normalized, but there are people like you who are trying to normalize it. So how far can parents help in that?
See, everybody, so the first thing we have to understand is, as an individual, our goal, my goal and everybody's goal is to help themselves. Okay, so it is to know who you are. It is to help yourself. Today I want to drink water. Tomorrow I want to drink juice. You know, the next minute I want to go on a trip. The next minute I want to stay home and have a holiday. These are things you have to know about yourself and what you need. So when we are firm, we are authentic, we have our spiritual confidence, and I'm talking about spiritual confidence, then we can also tell our parents, our family, our society, you know, that, yeah, you know what, I'm not doing so well today. I'm struggling. I have a broken heart, or I'm whatever I'm going through, right? So because when we are authentic, we create room for more authentic people in our lives. So the goal is not to change other people. The goal is to change yourself. And Mahatma Gandhi said this, right? Change begins with changing yourself.
Right. Okay. So again, a very important part of each of our lives is social media. We hardly find anybody who is not on social media, and it really plays a very important role in each of our lives. So how far is that affecting mental health of people?
You know what? I have to say that social media is, it can be very challenging to manage. And what I have been on social media, not just during this pandemic, but throughout, you know, Sexy Brilliant and before that. One of the tricks that I've realized is to, you know, we are responsible ourselves for our health, our mental health. For example, you know, tech companies design apps in such a way so that we are constantly on our edge. They're like, turn on the notification, turn on the, you know, subscribe here, go here, do that. We are constantly being told what to do. However, it is all about coming back to who we are and saying, you know what, maybe today I don't want to check Instagram. What can I do so that I don't check Instagram? So what I realized is when my mental health goes high, my stress level goes high, I feel anxious, I just delete apps from my phone. Like literally, I delete LinkedIn, Instagram, and I'm like, you know what? Social media will be there. There is the fear of missing out, but you know what? If your mental health is not there, then you can't manage anything outside.
Definitely.
So keep the notifications off.
Choose what you want to see and choose what not.
Absolutely.
Sure. So for this pandemic is a major reason behind the rise in mental health issues. So nowadays we see that it has risen a lot. So what do you think is the reason behind it mostly, other than the pandemic?
So, well, one of the things is, you know, the pandemic is only bringing to the surface what we're going through internally. So I'll give you an example. When the reason why mental health is at high is because we don't have a way of expressing our emotions, right? And this is coming back to what I have said perhaps earlier today is, you know, we have our 9 to 5 jobs, 9 to 9 jobs. We live high stress lives. Our success is measured by paychecks. Our success is measured by the car we drive, by the house we live in, by the kind of relationships we have. And then we work hard for that, right? You know, we give it all. However, then that stress level is still very high. And then we wait for the weekend to come so we can go to the bar and drink out our emotions, right? whether
Yeah.
it's drinking, whether it's going, partying till late night because you live for the weekend, because you are a slave during the week. So the question is, we don't have access to any of those things. We are, now the only people we have access to is ourselves. We have to look at ourselves in the mirror and see, who am I? Do I even like the person I am? And when I don't like the person I am, how can I expect other people to like me? So this pandemic is actually a gift, because we have to have this opportunity to go into a relationship with ourselves and say, you know what? I don't like what I do. I don't like the fact that I drink coffee every morning. And this is a personal example. Before the pandemic, I used to drink coffee every morning. But during the pandemic, May 2020, I was like, you know what? Maybe I want to start giving up my addiction. So I started working on this, and I said, okay, I'm not going to have coffee. And then for the first 3 days, it was terrible. For the first 10 days, my head was hurting so much. I was like, I want my fix. I want my coffee. I want my coffee. But I was like so determined to become a better version of myself that I was like, no, I'm not going to have coffee. So it's been a year and a half, and I've given up coffee. So I'm like, I can do this. Maybe a year. It's still a long time. And does that mean I've never had coffee? No, I've had coffee once in a while, and I've really enjoyed it. So it's about, understanding who you are, understanding what you need in this moment, and then saying, every day I want to become a better version of myself. And that is really sexy and brilliant.
So a person who is like suffering from depression or anxiety, we are told that they don't feel like doing anything. Okay, it is difficult for them to move out of bed. So how far is it right to restrain yourself from doing something when you're going through this stuff?
See, I can only speak from my personal experience. I am not a mental health professional. I am not a doctor. So everything that we're sharing is a personal experience. First of all, depression, mental health, sadness, happiness, joy, all our emotions are welcome. And for everybody, they are different, right? What I feel, in fact, every day, what we go through, our sadness is different every day as well. Sometimes, again, in my personal experience, I've had sad days where I have not been able to get out of bed. Then there are days that even though I'm struggling with sadness or depression, I'm able to take a shower. Some days, I'm sad and depressed, and I'm going to the office and I'm working. So these emotions are, their trauma response, right? So we always have to kind of say, yeah, today it's a good day. Today it's not such a good day, but, it's okay. I love myself for who I am. And, I am going to do as good of a job as I can taking care of myself, asking for help. Very important is to ask for help, whether that's professionals, whether that is, your community, your Facebook groups, your social media groups, whatever it is, your parents. I mean, if you can get a therapist, an Ayurvedic healer, the natural way, of course, is always better. And when we do that, then we find ourselves supported through our darkest time. And the fact of the matter is, when we go through dark times, we need the most support. And it is okay to ask for help. And most importantly, be there for somebody who's struggling. And if you are struggling yourself, treat your emotions like you would treat your best friend going through the same thing.
Right. Okay. So we are told to be yourself. Just be yourself. Even you said, ki, love yourself. So how can we love our own self when we are having issues with our own selves, the way we are? The depression, the anxiety starts when we don't believe in ourselves. So how can we have that thought in our mind and still love ourselves? How is that possible?
See, the thing to keep in mind is where does self-love come from? Is this a magic formula? It's not. It's a journey. The journey to more love is love itself.
Yeah.
So first of all, the answer is love. Now, how do we start having a loving relationships with ourselves? It's by knowing who we are, knowing your good side, knowing your not so good side. So example, sadness, depression, overeating, bulimia, anorexia, even addictions, they're part of your not so good side. So when we know who we are, when we know that we're struggling, we have, between the good and the bad, we always have to find balance. And not to say that the bad is a wrong thing. It's not a wrong thing at all. And from self-knowledge comes self-acceptance. And I mean radical self-acceptance. It's to accept your darkness. It's to accept your emotions. It's to accept your depression. It's to accept your joyful side. It's to accept your good side. And when we practice our good side and our not so good side together, we can then say, you know what? So what if I'm struggling with depression? So what if I'm fat? So what if I have no money in the bank right now? I am still worthy of love. And all of that is actually starting from inside, the messages that you're telling yourself. And Afreen, I want to share a tip that I use for myself, and I share this in my books as well. It's that when I'm struggling, whether it's mental health or anxiety or whatever it is, I stand in front of the mirror and I say, I am sexy, I am brilliant. And always sexy, always brilliant, you know? So if anybody is going through that, stand in front of the mirror and say, I am sexy, I am brilliant. You can affirm any other words any words you want, and repeat it for 30 days till you believe it, because our brain takes about 21 days to reprogram. So we have that opportunity to be our own healers, our own guru, our own doctor kind of a thing, and start that journey of self-love.
Okay. So even children who are hardly 10 years, 12 years, even they often say that I'm feeling depressed, I'm getting a panic attack. So they are small children, they haven't seen the world, the dark side of the world yet. So how come they are depressed? How come they feel so low from at such a young age?
I'm glad you're bringing this topic up, because you know what? Depression is not based on gender. It's not based on your socioeconomic background. It's not based on your age. Mental health issues, I would say. So they're just there, right? It's not based on your gender, your sexual orientation. None of that matters when your emotional health is concerned. And this has happened with me as well. When my 12-year-old daughter comes and says to me, Mommy, I'm really anxious, I want to go see a therapist. So imagine a 12-year-old daughter is coming to me, my daughter is coming to me and saying, Mommy, I want to see a therapist. And I looked at her and I was like, how do you know about this therapist? You know what she said to me? She said, Mommy, you have a therapist, so I want a therapist as well. So, that is how that conversation started at my place, at my home. However, when I told my parents that, Anahad, my daughter, is starting to see a therapist, my parents were like, why? Ki ho gaya? She's what? Is she gone mad? So you know what? It was such a big wake-up call for me, because my parents were like, they were still not able to comprehend that or have that understanding. And I said, Mommy, on the other hand, I'm very proud of my daughter, because she has come and she says she wants help with her anxiety, her whatever it is. So again, the goal is to work on yourself so that other people are learning from example.
So anybody who's going through any kind of mental issue, people say he has gone crazy, he has gone mad. So it is not that way. That is what we have learned so far. Okay, talking about the section. Yeah, okay, tell me. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Sorry, I don't know. Usually there's no truck here today. There must be something, construction must be going on.
That's okay.
Yeah. And it's, it's also about, we complicate our lives too much, right? First of all, when I talk about being open, being authentic, I also mean being open and authentic with the right people. You have to have a safe place to be open and authentic and be who you are. And oftentimes our parents don't understand us, but our friends do. So it's okay to reach out to somebody who you look up to, a friend, a mentor, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whoever it is. Just start there and be there for each other. And if something we have learned during this shutdown, this pandemic, is that nobody else will take care of us. The government's not taking care of us. The system is broken. We have to take care of ourselves, and we have to take care of people around us.
Okay, you talked about sexual orientation as well. So let us talk about now Pride Month is going on. So we have seen a lot of people from the LGBTQ plus community who go through a lot. They are unable to confide what they are feeling, what they want to be. So what is a solution for them mostly? Because parents mostly coming in terms with mental health is still not very prevalent yet. So how do they come out of whatever mental issues that they are going?
See, mental issues are everywhere, right? And where, I mean, it's like whether you're divorced or your sexual orientation is not the normal, whatever it is, it's about being real. It's about being raw. It's about being authentic. And to anybody who's struggling, who's going through this, I would say that there should be less judgment and more acceptance. Stop judging others, look at yourself, spend time on your personal growth and development, turn off that Netflix, turn off that binge watching, and go within. When you go within, get all these messages from inside, your intuition becomes strong, you again become unshakable so that the outside world affects you less and less. And it is a journey. And Alfreen, I want to give you an example is, I was fat shamed on, I think it was on YouTube, and somebody said, somebody called me obese, and I said, it was an interesting experience. I mean, it's not the first time, it's not the last time. And I looked at it and I said, I still love you. My goal is not to be angry at you for calling me fat or obese or being so unkind. My goal is to be authentic. My goal is to share love with you because I have so much love in me. So when I give love and respect to somebody who's difficult or troll, difficult parents, what are they going to do? They're going to still stay angry with me. For how long can they stay angry? So you have to kind of go within and say, I can't change their situation. I can't change their mind. He's still calling me fat. He's still calling me ugly. He's calling me obese. However, I can change how I react to this. So when we change our expression and when we just give out love and respect and go within and say everything that is going on the outside is a reflection of what's going on inside me, guess what happens? We become stronger. We become so comfortable within ourselves, our sexuality, our size, our ambitions, that we don't have room to worry about other people. So it's a journey. Nothing is going to happen overnight. But you know what? It's possible when we're mindful of everything that we're experiencing.
Okay, so any message for our viewers that you would like to say?
Yeah, I want to tell everybody, guys, if you are here, say hi to us. Please press the heart button, share this video, help us remove the stigma around mental health. And you know what, just pay it forward so that people can learn from this and find their own sexy brilliance. And that's really important, that we connect to our spiritual self.
Definitely. Okay, Devina, I think we have come to the end of the session. It has really been very enlightening. Thank you very much for being with us. On behalf of the entire Multi-Links team, I would really thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Afrina. True pleasure. Bye, everybody. Namaste.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.